The overall reform came out the way it did. This is how Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki summed up attempts to reform the judiciary in a ministry overseen by sovereign Poland politicians. Of course, we will continue to reform the judiciary. I hope in such a way that it is realistically carried out. I think that in this term of office, we will not manage to turn the projects into binding law because there is not enough time. I think that after we win the elections, we will return to the issues of the functioning of the judiciary. According to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General Zbigniew Ziobro, the reform of the judiciary has failed for reasons outside his department. Prime Minister Morawiecki, I fully agree that the reform of the judiciary has not fully worked out as we jointly wanted, only that I will remind you was first blocked by the president's veto and then EU blackmail, which you have used for years to explain your lack of consent for further judicial reform. I accept the appeal to me to undertake changes in the judiciary in good faith. That is why I am sending you once again a package of my judicial reforms ready to be passed for more than 4 years. Of course, neither I nor the Council of Ministers is blocking any laws. It's worth putting up with a bit of digs towards us for what we've achieved over the past 8 years. For almost 2 years, there has been a bill in the Sejm with which the Polish judiciary can be improved. We are talking about the presidential bill on magistrates. If even 40% of cases went to the magistrates, it would be a huge relief. Currently, we have such a long waiting time even for the first hearing. It's turning into a farce. But such a solution is not accepted by the politicians of sovereign Poland. It takes 1, maybe 2 committee hearings for the bill to reach the plenary chamber, and they are directly voting to drag it out, like calling in further experts, adjourning the meetings. In February of this year, President Andrzej Duda referred an amendment to the Supreme Court law to the Constitutional Court. The amendment calls for the transfer of judges' immunity and disciplinary cases to the Supreme Administrative Court. A date for a hearing at the Constitutional Court has been set for May 31st. However, there is concern that the required panel for adjudication will not be assembled that day. If the 11-member composition does not come together, we will need to look for another date. The first reading of a bill authored by Law and Justice deputies, which calls for reducing the required size of the General Assembly and the Constitutional Court from 10 to 9, and the full tribunal from 11 to 9 is scheduled to take place during the upcoming session of the Sejm. We have no doubt that the stalemate in the tribunal must be ended, and this is the most important issue. While the way to end the stalemate can be of various kinds, this is one of the proposals that is on the table, and the Solidarna Polska board will discuss this proposal. The adoption of an amendment to the Supreme Court law is one of the conditions for Poland to receive funds from the National Reconstruction Plan, for which we have been waiting for 25 months.